Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 3. So I am Nur Athirah Syamimi, binti Baharuddin, and my two members, Siti, Fatin, Natasya, and Liyana, Izzatie. So we will present SCL2. For task 1, it is about present value. Find the present value of 3,000 3 years from today at 10% interest rate. So we will use the present value equation as follows, and we will get 2,253 ringgit and 94 sen. Next, we will go to task 2 about present value 2. Find the value now if you get 6,500 next year at 15% interest rate. So we will use also present value equation as stated, and we will get 5,652 ringgit and 17 sen. Next, for task 3, it is about net present value. So an investment with a 4-year life and cost 225,000 generates cash flows of 48,000 in year 1, 76,000 in year 2, 95,000 in year 3, and 110,000 in year 4. If the cost of capital is 15%, calculate the net present value of the investment and discuss if the investment should be taken. So we will use the equation of net present value, and the initial investment is 225,000, and we will get negative 7,242 ringgit and 34 sen. So the investment should not be taken because the net present value is very low. For the investment, we should choose net present value which is positive because it means that the value of the revenues is greater than the cost. So when the revenues are greater than cost, the investor will make a profit. So so basically the investor should make any investment with a positive net present value, which means the investment is making money. So I will pass to Liana.
Okay, next I will present for task 4 and task 5. Okay, for task 4, it is about net present value also. The question is a project with a 3-year life and costs 100,000 ringgit generates cash flows of 25,000 in year 1, 45,000 in year 2, and 65,000 in year 3. If the cost of capital is 8%, calculate the net present value of the project should you undertake this project. So from this question, we get that initial investment is 100,000. The cash flow for year 1 is 25,000. For year 2 is 45,000, and for year 3 is 65,000, and the rate is 0.08. So we use the formula of NPV, which is cash flow over 1 plus I power of t minus with initial investment. So we substitute the value that we get from the question, which is 25,000 over 1 plus 0.08 power of 1 plus 45,000 over 1 plus 0.08 power of 2 plus 65,000 over 1 plus 0.08 power of 3 minus by 100,000. So from that we get the answer, which is 13,327 ringgit and 49 sen. So from this answer, it showed that NPV value is greater than 1 and it is larger. So we should undertake this project. Okay, next. Next, we go to for task 5, which is about internal rate of return. Okay, the question, a project will receive 3 annual payments of 2,500 ringgit and 4,000 in year 3. Find IRR for this project, assuming invested 5,000 in the project. So from this question, we get that the initial investment is 5,000. For year 1, cash flow for year 1 is 2,500. For year 2, 2,500 also. And for year 3, 205 2,500 plus with 4,000, which is 6,500. So since this question didn't give the cost capital, so we use the try and error method, and we choose 40% for to get the NPV. At 40%, the NPV is 430 ringgit and 3 cent, which is greater than zero, and it is positive value. Okay, next. Okay, next, we choose 50% to get the NPV value is negative value, which is the answer is negative 296 ringgit and 30 cent. Okay, next. Okay, next, we substitute the value in linear interpolation formula. Okay, the formula is y2 minus y1 over by x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. So before that, in I will explain what is x1, x2, and y1 and y2. Okay, for the rate of 40%, it is x1, and the NPV value for 40% is y1. Okay, IRR is x, and NPV for IRR is 0, and it is y. For 50%, it is x2, and the NPV value for 50% is y2. So we substitute this value into the formula of linear interpolation to get the IRR. So the last answer we get is 45.92%. So next, I will pass to Fatin to continue.
Okay, for task 6 about IRR, the question given is an investment with a 4-year life and cost 225,000 generates cash flows of 48,000 in year 1, 67,000 in year 2, 95,000 in year 3, and 110,000 in year 4. If the cost of capital is 15%, find the IRR of the investment and discuss if the investment should be taken. So for this question, I'll sort the given cash flow for the at year 0, which is the cost of investment we put as negative, which is negative 225,000, and the following years as follows: 48,000 for year 1, 67,000 for year 2, 95,000 for year 3, and 110,000 for year 4. So to solve IRR question, we need to use trial and error method to find at what value NPV, at what rate is NPV positive and negative. So for firstly, we use at 15%, which is the given cost of capital. We find that using the NPV formula, we obtain that the NPV is negative value, which is negative 7,242 ringgit and 34 cents. So to obtain the next NPV value that is positive, we learn that the higher the rate, the smaller the value. So we choose a smaller value since we want a positive NPVs. So we try at 13% and obtain NPV of 3,253 ringgit and 53 cents. So next, by using linear interpolation, we will substitute the value we obtain, which is for x1 13%, and the corresponding y1 is the positive NPV, while x value is the IRR and y value is 0. Since if we want to find IRR, we need the NPV value must be equal to 0. So for x2 is 15%, and the corresponding y2 is the negative NPV value. If we substitute into the linear interpolation formula, we will obtain IRR of 13.62%, which is less than 15% of the cost of capital. So we reject the investment since the NPV value will be less than 0. So for task 7, uh, which is also IRR question, given that a project with 3-year life and cost uh, 350,000 generates cash flows of 225,000 in year 1, 150,000 in year 2, and 170,000 in year 3. If the cost of capital is 11%, find the IRR for this project and should you undertake this project. So to solve this, we use the same method as previous task. Firstly, at the cost of capital 11%, we obtain a positive NPV of 8,658 ringgit 51 cent, which is positive. So to find the negative NPV, we use a smaller, a larger rate, which is at 13%. We try and found that the NPV is negative 4,090 ringgit. So to continue, we use the linear interpolation formula and also obtain IRR of 12.36%, which is larger than 11%. So we accept the project since NPV is more than 0. So moving on to reflection, from this SCL, we obtain that we learn that present value is the current value for future sum of money given by given specific rate of return. Meanwhile, for NPV, we learned that NPV widely used in capital budgeting to establish which projects are likely to turn the greatest profit. Next, for IRR, we learn to find IRR using trial and error method as well as in linear interpolation, hence decide if the project should be accepted or rejected. From all these three, we are more confident on making investment decision based on what we have learned. That's all from us. Thank you.